Hello everyone, and welcome back. I hope you guys are all doing great today. Now, if you watched my video yesterday, you will know that we're going to be doing multiple videos this week. Normally I do a Tuesday and a Friday video. Tuesday video is kind of like a sewing tutorial or behind the scenes video, and then Friday is where I make a dress start to finish. However, I have just gotten back from vacation, and so I wanted to have some videos that were kind of easy to edit together, and I had a kind of idea that maybe I could do a video each day this week that helps out. So if you saw my video yesterday, it was showing off the fabric that I bought while I was in New York City when I was on vacation up north. And so check that video out because I think that there's some nice little tidbits in there, because I also show how I fold it and store it like short yardage of fabric on a hanger. So check out that video from yesterday. But for the rest of the week, we're going to be doing Super Thanks videos. Now, if you don't know what a Super Thanks is, it is now something that is offered on this channel that basically you can give me a Super Thanks, and it's basically a tip. So you give me a little bit of money, and it's just basically to say thank you for creating these videos. And it helps me and it helps the channel out when I get these Super Thanks. Now, of course, I'm not begging or pleading with anybody to do this, but if you're feeling generous and you're saying, hey, I've been really enjoying watching these videos, let's give Brad a little bit of a thanks by giving him a little bit of money. Now, if you give me a Super Thanks, I'm going to give you a Super Thanks by shouting you out in a future video. So I had planned to do these little segments within my videos when I got a Super Thanks that would just shout you out, whether it was a comment, because you guys leave me a lot of sweet comments on these videos, or if it was a question, I could answer the question. However, I've gotten a couple of questions from these Super Thanks, because you guys have been so generous to give me a Super Thanks, that I thought would make some really great videos. So I've got 3 picked out right now that are going to be videos this week for each day. And I'm going to go over what you guys have asked me. So one is a sewing tutorial that I'll do probably on Thursday, but today we have got a question from Beth Brinston, who I have come to know through making these videos. She has been super sweet and comments on each and every one of these videos right from the very start of me starting these out. But she is somebody who lives in Canada, and she has been on a sewing journey herself, sewing costumes for her daughter. And so she has found my videos very helpful and has let me know that. And so she's been one of those people that really has pushed me to continue, because there was a time that I was like, is anybody watching? Is anybody enjoying these? But she has really given me a lot of support. And she even gave me so much support that she reached out to me, because she had asked if I would do, like, if I would ever do any seminars or anything like that, where I kind of am in person and teach people how to sew. But I didn't really know how to do that. But she said, well, would you at least jump on a Zoom with me? So she did. So we did that. So we got on our computers, and I helped her out with all of her sewing questions for about an hour. And so I've started doing little Zooms. So if you're interested in a Zoom, you can email me at bg@bradgraphies.com, and I can help you out with any questions you have, whether it's with sewing, pattern making skills, beading, whatever. If you have any questions for me and you want, to jump on a Zoom with me, I can do 30 minutes or I can do an hour and help you out. And so she was the very first one, and we had a great time when we did ours, I think. And I was able to help her figure out some things with her sewing and some questions that she had on some of the costumes that she was working on for her daughter, that she just couldn't figure out some things. And I kind of was able to open her eyes to maybe new little things that made it easier and quicker and helpful. So I thank her for that. So that is why I picked her as the first person that I am going to be doing a Super Thanks video on. And hopefully, if I continue to get some great questions within these Super Thanks, I can do actual videos. So you're getting a full video when you do one of these Super Thanks. So her question today is, so she commented on my video how to applique mesh to create hundreds of different style lines. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But she commented on that video and she said, thank you, Brad. As soon as I master this technique, it will be a game changer, exclamation point. And then her question was, I would love to see how you store all of your patterns. So today, I'm going to show you how I store all of my patterns here. So I think that it's, I store them in a couple of different ways. And so I'm going to bring you over here and we can kind of go over it. But you can kind of see how, I have a ton of patterns because I've built patterns up over the years. And I can show you how I store them. So basically what I do, because if you know me, I have kind of a made-to-order line that you can go online. You can go on bradgriffies.co and you can see costumes that if you are somebody who maybe wants to buy a stock style kind of dress, you can go in there and see all of my unbeaded, and then I also have beaded versions as well. But you go on there and you can see all different styles, and so some of the styles that I have are very similar. They just may have different style lines in the bust area. So you'll see it straight across, you'll see sweetheart, you'll see a deeper sweetheart, you'll see the V-notch, so lots of those things. So I have to kind of carry a lot of patterns for this line because I'm not creating a pattern each time I'm making a dress. I just make the pattern and then I store them in my different ways around my studio or in my cutting area. This is my cutting area. So this is my cutting table. And then we've got this unit here, which is from IKEA. It's called a PAX unit, and it's basically a wardrobe unit that you can have different things fit into it, whether it's hanging clothes or drawers or little pull-outs, and I use it for my patterns because I felt like it was perfect to hold everything. And then of course I have two filing cabinets here that I keep a lot of the basic styles in. So we're going to go over that. So basically how I hold my patterns is I have these filing cabinets, and this is how I originally held everything. I had them in these filing cabinets, and I need to reorganize these. They've been in these filing cabinets for a while, and I'm sure there's some styles in here I no longer offer, but then as well I just want to kind of organize so it looks a little nicer and label them so it looks a little nicer. I just need to find the time. It's like if I had if it was like Severance, that TV show where you have an innie and an outie. If I could be the outie and then I had an innie who did all the work while I was sleeping or not conscious or whatever, that would be great, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. I just don't feel like I have time for it. But anyway, I keep most of my patterns in here. And so the top of here are patterns that are the basic style. So what do I mean by that? That means like this is my O2 pattern. So this is just basically a regular, and I'll throw up here on the page what the basic part of it looks like. But it's like this, and I have them in each and every size. So I have seven different sizes that I offer. Child's, small, medium, large, and then adult, extra small, small, medium, and large. And so I have those 7 sizes in every pattern that goes through this whole thing. And so basically I use that as the starting base on some styles, and then I have style lines that I can draw on and then cut away. So if you check out the video where I did the appliquing the mesh on, you can see how I do that. But the reason why I do that, it makes it a lot quicker. So if I had a pattern for every single dress that I offer, it would be like 10 times the amount of this. But I can use the basic pattern, if that makes sense, and then have my style lines, which are over here, and I'll show you that. I'll pull you over here and show you that. It makes it much quicker and easier, and I don't have to draft out all those patterns. But basically on the top here I have the standard body style, and then I can change the style lines with some style line patterns over here. But then the rest that come down here and over here are the different styles. So like I have a 1508 style. So that's one of my very, very popular styles. And so I have them all, every style, and I just have them folded. And then as you can see, there's the style line on it with the size. It says nude mesh up here. So I just keep them kind of folded nice and neat. And they're all here. And then I have the 1731 and 1811. I don't even think that's a style anymore. Yeah, I don't think I offer that one anymore, but I still have the patterns. So that's just an easy way to keep them if you have this. Now, I also have this whole unit, which I will bring you over here. So let me bring you a little more up close and personal. Let's make sure you can see. Let me make sure you can see everything. Okay. that is pretty good. All right, so this is the PAX unit that I get at IKEA, and you can do a lot of different things with it. So now I have hanging patterns, as you can see, and the way that I hang them is that I have these little hooks like this, and you put a little hole in the pattern, and these patterns are all done. My patterns in the filing cabinets are all what I call pinnable patterns. So that means they're regular paper, so it's like a regular copy paper. So you can pin into them. Now this is on what is considered a cardstock, so it's real heavy duty paper. You can't pin into this, but this is basically just what I call my hard pattern. So I can trace easier and they last longer, but you're not pinning into them, because with my pinnable patterns with the thinner paper, if you do a pattern a lot, it tends to wear out. Okay, so I can hang some patterns up, and basically it's this little hook here. This is what it looks like. There's a hook on top, so it hangs on the thing, and then it has this little bar here that can go through your holes. You can just hang all your patterns, and then you can see them all easily. Woo! You can see them all easily on the on the rack here. So it's kind of like having, your clothing rack, or like when you saw how I hung my fabric up in yesterday's video, you can just have them all hanging, and you can just go through them. So I have hanging here, I have hanging down here, and I have hanging down here. So these are hard patterns here, and so these are all of my skirts and panties, and the basic pattern for a full sleeve. And so when I have a skirt pattern that wears out, I will retrace it with the hard pattern so that I make sure everything's right. Because a lot of times when you're using the soft patterns and you're cutting away, you'll start chipping away at it over time, and then also pinning into it will kind of wear it out. And so it's good to have the original hard pattern so that when you go to retrace it, it is perfect again. Whereas if I try to trace off of the soft pattern that I've been pinning into, it's been like chipped away at over a few months or a year, and kind of worn out, and so it may not fit perfectly back into it. So you want to make sure you have a hard pattern that is the perfect from when it started at the beginning, if that makes sense. So I have the skirts, and then the long-sleeved hard pattern, and then I have some men's pants and different patterns like that I can use as a base for when I go to create a guy's costume. I can use this as a base and then change it depending on the measurements and lengths and all that kind of stuff. Now on the center section, I have hung, these are all of my style lines. So like I said, I will have a basic pattern for each style that I use. Like I have unique styles on my website, so they're like, they're unique. And then I have some basic styles. So I will have something that has a high neck, or a scooped neck, or long sleeves with a high neck, or an open back. Have all those, but then they all have the same kind of styling. So I'll do a sweetheart or whatnot. So this is a V-notch. So this is my 03. So if you look on my website, you'll see like 403 or 503 or whatever. So the 3 at the end means that it's the V-notch, or the 2 is my sweetheart pattern. So basically what I can do is when I go to cut it out, I cut out the same bodice, and then I trace this on, and then I just cut away so that it reveals the sweetheart. And so then I'm not having to make, if I have 10 different style line patterns here, I'm not having to make 10 different patterns for each one of those. I have the same one pattern, that's the basic. I can lay this on top, trace it, and then cut away to reveal the style line. And so then you can do, like I said in that video, you can do thousands of different style lines that way. Now I have 10 or 11, 12 different basic style lines that I have that are for offer on my website, but I just have all of those there. And then here on the end, these are the hard patterns for the basic styles that are no sleeves. And then down here is where I have all of my dance skirts. I have all of my belted skirts. I have my asymmetrical attached skirt. And I think that's it. And so those are, I basically wanted to be able to, especially the dance skirts, they're long and big. So I wanted to not fold it too much. And I can just have them hanging up here. And then here, and they're in all the different sizes. So they go from the the small to the large. And then here you'll see each one of my sizes. So size 1 is my child small, and then it goes up to size 7, which is my adult large. So there was a time that I had them numbered by my sizing. Now you'll see, when you see a dress of mine, we'll say adult small, adult medium, adult large, whatever. All right, so in each one of these are little drawers that kind of come out, and you're able to I'm just able to kind of flatly lay everything. So like I have the panty pattern in here that I would use on every one if it's the V attached panty, and then I have all the different skirts. So I just go through here, and it's just nice to kind of lay it flat and you can see everything. So these little drawers kind of just come out. It just makes it nice and neat and kind of saves room, and you just lay them flat onto there. So I thought that was pretty neat, doing this. And then I have on the top here, this is just kind of some patterns that are all mixed in that I use that need to be organized somewhere. But originally this top part of this, when my assistant, I had an assistant for about 10-11 years, and so we were working here together, so we had to kind of save room. So she basically worked here, and I would maybe be working the pattern table or whatnot. Now that I work alone, I'm able to use this table while I'm cutting. So I just put I have these boxes. Let me find a box. I have these boxes. Basically, when I cut out an order, I put it in a box like this, and then I'll put it on my table over there. However, when she worked for me, we had this whole top section where it could come out almost like a table, and she could put 3 boxes in here, 1 box here, and then 3 boxes there. And so then when she was cutting, she would cut over here on the table, and then she could move over here and put all the pieces in their correct box. And then we could stack them. Actually, I have the boxes over here. We could stack them on top of each other to take them to the sewing station. So now I just basically use the tops of these as just a catch-all for extra patterns that, you know, I don't have a spot for right now, but at some point I will have a spot. But I think that's pretty clean and easy. And then I have some drawers here that I, you know, keep little different things. And I have the hair ties. I don't really offer hair ties anymore of the dresses because a lot of people weren't using them. This is where we would used to keep hair ties, and so this is just kind of all catch-all kind of stuff. Yeah, I have patterns in here. These are the leotard pattern panties and stuff. So, but I find this, since I have the space, that I can have this whole big unit along with the filing cabinets, and that's how I keep all of the patterns together. And I think it really works well for me. I think I would like to get maybe the drawers over here, and then I can place all of these patterns in there. But this is a really nice unit to be able to use for different things. And I think, like I said in my video yesterday, I want to get some of these units for where my fabric storages and my trims are. And so then I can put all my, I can have drawers like this and put all the trims in there, and then they can just kind of go away, and then I can have them all organized, and it creates more room, but then also keeps it nice and clean. And I have I always have what I call catch-all tables, which is basically I have things organized at first, and then I have a table or an area that like this, that then I just kind of start throwing new things onto, that's just catching all the extras. But hopefully this gives you an insight and maybe gives you some inspiration if you have the room to be able to have some patterns. Now I have a ton of room in my studio, so I know a lot of people maybe only be working in a space that's this big, but I'm able to have so much room that I can put all of my patterns, big like this. Whereas when I had smaller spaces, I basically just kept everything in these filing cabinets and just had all of these different folders, and then just folded everything and put them in there. And like that one is where most of everything is, and so it's really filled and I need to go through and reorganize. But this just makes it so much nicer and cleaner. But I really love that you can do the hang. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I've just been gabbing along, but you can kind of see a little bit into it. So I'm gonna move you back over here, and then we can finish up. Hopefully you can see me. Let's just check the view. Yeah. All right, so to finish this video, I thank Beth so much for giving me a super like. And so if you would like to give me a super like so that you can get a shout out on a future video, then you can just comment on this video or one of my other videos, and I will see it. It puts you up to the top as well and lets me see your your comment over all the other comments if you give a super thanks. And so I thank Beth for this question and thank her for her support with giving, a super thanks, but also just for the kind comments that she always gives on each and every one of my videos. It really does help me continue on with this, because sometimes I really question myself and guess am I doing the right thing? Should I just be quiet and work alone or whatnot? But I've been really enjoying doing these videos, but sometimes I get in my head and think who am I to talk about this stuff? But I hope that you guys have been enjoying these videos. But this is just another way that if you want to get a little shout out, get a little love from me, you can give me a super thanks, and I feel the love from you guys, whether you're paying for a super thanks or if you're just watching the videos and leaving me a regular comment. Anything kind of helps boost me up and helps continue making me feel like maybe I should be doing this. Okay, with that being said, I thank you for coming, watching the video. So please like, subscribe, comment. That helps me. Please check out all of my websites, braggraphies.co, where you can see all of my dresses, and you can order a custom dress. And then my stock website, gstock.com, where you can just get anything that I'm ready to get ready to go out right away. And then you can check out my Amazon store. That's where I house all of my products that I use that you can buy. And then please share these videos. I'm trying to build this community. And it's been going slow, and it's a slow burn, but each and every day I'm getting new people coming and finding out who I am here and seeing what I'm doing. So if you can share the videos, whether it's on a Facebook group or to a friend that maybe sews or beads or would enjoy this content, please let them know about me. But especially, please like and subscribe. Subscribe because I can see the algorithm or the analytics on these videos, and there's 52% of you guys that are watching these videos, but you have not subscribed. So if you want to be able to see when I put out these videos, then you gotta subscribe. Push that bell notification. It alerts you and lets you know when I have a new video coming out. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed seeing this process of creating the patterns. But basically, this is my cutting table. Then I have all the patterns right here, so I can just kind of jot around and go from space to space very easily within here, and just keep everything organized before I take it over and sew in the sewing area, which I did a sewing tour area in a video, so go check out that video. Got lots of videos here that you can continue to check out, especially if you're new here and you want to see all the things I've done. I have plenty of videos, so go check those out. With that being said, I thank you for coming, and I will see you tomorrow for our next video, and Thursday as well. And then if there's anybody new that gives me a question before Friday and I have time, and I think it's going to be a good video and I have time to film it, maybe we'll get a Friday video. But so far this week, as of this filming, we've got till Thursday. So let's see if we can get a Friday video as well. But anyway, thank you for all your support, whether it's just watching this video or giving me a super thanks. But I will see you tomorrow. All right, bye.